Hello and welcome back to Craftsman David. I was using my old Black & Decker angle grinder last weekend and I was pushing it to the limit. It got kind of hot and I knew I should stop, but I really had just a little bit more grinding to do, so I pushed it and I burnt it out. So that was kind of sad, but then I thought, new tool, baby. So I went on Amazon.com and I found a deal that I just couldn't pass up. I'm just a little bit excited about it because I've never had anything made in Germany. But this is a Fein angle grinder, model number WSG8-115. And it just came in, so today I'm going to show you the unboxing and we'll turn it on, see how it works. I don't do a lot of heavy use of the angle grinder except when I burn them out. So probably just going to turn it on and show you a little bit of grinding today. But, you know, keep what you pay for, I guess. This is a free channel. So here it is. It's a fairly big box. It's fairly heavy. It's like a 6.9 pound angle grinder. No tape or anything holding it shut, but hopefully it's all there. So here's the manual for it, and it does come in English. And here's the machine. With the cord. Oh phew, I did get the right one. This is an American plug, so here in the States I'll be able to plug it in. And it does say on it 120 volts, 60 hertz, 6.9 amps. So this one is fully made to work in North America, no problem there. And what else it comes with? It's got a guard that goes on it. It's got the handle that you can screw on either side. You lefties will appreciate that. And here it looks like we've got a blade wrench as well as the two clamps that clamp your disc onto it. And it did not come with a disc. That's kind of funky, but I got such a deal on this thing, I'm not worried about buying a disc. Okay, so the first step, according to the manual, is to put the blade guard on. This lever right here actually is what you use to adjust the blade guard once it goes on. They said that you face it backwards like this, then you kind of hold the lever down and it should spin around. Oh yeah. Oh, see, then it locks. Then if I want to spin it some more, I hold down this lever and it locks in several different positions around the thing. That's kind of a cool feature, so that way you can have it straight on if you're just kind of normal grinding, or if you want to get into a corner or something with a cutoff wheel, you can put it to this side and then you can kind of get into that corner. One note I want to make about guards is don't ever take them off, because those grinder wheels do have a potential to break apart under the centrifugal force, especially if they've been mishandled or been dropped or something. That's another reason why you never want to buy off-brand grinder wheels. That's kind of a rule of mine. Anything that spins real fast, like a router bit or a grinder wheel, I always buy the name brands, because what happened to me is I was holding the grinder in one hand coming down on a piece of metal, and this hand was about right here, and the disc caught on the piece of metal and the disc exploded, and now you can kind of see that I have a scar coming across the two fingers. They sewed it back on and everything, but I still cannot pull the tip of my finger up, which is kind of annoying. So hopefully this grinder will serve me a lot better than my last one, as it was actually the same grinder that cut my finger off as the one that I just burnt out last weekend. So this one hopefully will serve me better. I think it will. And here the grinder is fully assembled. I don't think you need help putting the handle on the side. One thing I will note, holding this grinder, I consider myself to have pretty big hands, and I have trouble wrapping my hands all the way around. You see, I can't even get my fingers to meet on the other side. The body of the motor itself is not square or round. It is actually kind of an oval. It is skinnier in this direction than it is in this direction. So I was thinking it might be more comfortable to rotate the motor, and the manual describes how to do that. You take out these 4 bolts on the end, these screws, and the whole head, the whole gearbox should swivel on the motor by any increment of 90 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and try that right now. And there you have it. Now it's swiveled. I actually kind of like that switch in that spot too, because now I can operate it with my thumb, which is a lot easier than having to come up here and then kind of come back around. So I think I can be much happier with it like this. And it is a little bit more comfortable to hold, so I'm going to go with it. Okay, now it's time to mount a wheel to the grinder. It didn't come with a wheel, but luckily I have wheels left over. This is a brand new 4.5-inch diameter DeWalt grinding wheel. Please note that if you buy this grinder, 5-inch wheels do not work. The 4.5-inch wheel is the only size that's going to fit in this guard. So that's the kind you're going to need. It comes with 2 hubs. The first one has a square on it, so that when you put it on, it locks into the square that's on the shaft, so that the hub and the shaft rotate together. The flange with the holes in it is always your nut that holds it on the threaded part. Yeah, that's another way to tell. It's got threads. Important thing to know about these threads when you're dealing with grinders is generally these nuts have a flat side, and then they have a side that has a boss on it. Grinder shafts are generally 5/8 inch diameter. Wheels that you buy to put on them are generally 7/8 holes. So how do you put a 7/8 hole on a 5/8 grinder? Well, that's where that boss comes in. When you're installing a thicker grinder wheel like this, you always want to put the boss so that it fits into the wheel. And it kind of bridges the gap between the 5/8 shaft and the 7/8 hole. If I was going to run a thin wheel or a sanding disc or something, I could turn this flange around and have the flat side clamp it on. But in this case, this is a thick wheel, so I'm going to put it on. I'm going to put my boss down, turn it. And another thing I loved about this grinder without even trying it yet is I saw the size of this wrench. This is a beautiful wrench for tightening wheels. To give you a comparison, this is the wrench that came with my old Black & Decker machine. It's obviously much longer, you can get a much better grip on it, but also it's much thicker. This is maybe 14 gauge metal, where this looks like it's 1/4 inch steel. I mean, that's a really heavy duty wrench. I wasn't expecting that, but that is awesome. Because with this, you can imagine, it's tough to get in. But now it's got a lock on the back side, and just turn it till it hits the lock. Oh, it's so easy with a bigger wrench. And you don't need to go crazy. The longer the wrench, the more torque you have. So just tighten it snug. And that's what a Fein grinder looks like with a DeWalt wheel on it. Let's go grind some metal. Okay, so I'm ready to grind some metal. I got a 1/4 inch plate. One thing I want to note while I was setting up, this thing comes with a seriously long cord. I couldn't believe how long it was, so I took a tape measure. It's a full 13 feet from the tip to the grinder. It's a 13-foot cord. It's probably something like 4 meters of cord. That is awesome. So they really didn't skip on the cord. I gotta hand that to them. I could plug it all the way in over here. Very impressed. But now I'm ready to go. And the manual says that this thing is 90 decibels when it's running. So I'm going to go ahead and take the precaution of putting on earmuffs. I recommend that you do the same if you get a grinder. Really, any brand, they're all loud. So here we go. I like it already, very smooth, not a ton of vibration. So I have a weld here that I put on this plate a while ago, so I'm going to grind this weld off and make this plate smooth again. See how that goes. There you have it. Say bye-bye to Mr. Weld. I'm also going to try grinding, just taking the nip off of the corner. See how that goes. That was a lot of sparks. I hate to be a whip, but I don't want to shoot that many sparks inside. So I'm sure it would grind just fine when you're taking the nip off of the plate. You'll just have to take me at my word. Instead of taking a nip off, I'm going to just try surface grinding again. I'm going to put like a bevel on this edge with the grinder. Grinds pretty well. Another nice feature I like is if I set it down while it's still running. Actually, the guard goes below the wheel, so you can set it down while it's still running. That's kind of a nice feature too. Okay, there's one more point I want to address. I have the grinder unplugged. I want to know, does it fit the American style wheels that actually have threads on them where they thread onto the end of the grinder? Because this is made in Germany. It could be a metric thread on there. I really don't know. I'm going to find out with you. Ah, look at that. They truly are standardized. That fit on there no problem. Looks like it works just fine. 4.5 inches, not 5. I haven't used it long enough to recommend it, but so far I like the low vibration. It seems like a pretty solid built machine. I think it'll serve me well. Thanks for watching this tool unboxing, and work safely out there.